This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up high like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up and we'll do it 1,000 times again. And you, and you, and you, and you. Hello. Welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. This is Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. Could not pick up this mic last week. Grief, along with the election results, left me in a place where I only had the energy to maybe eat and go to the bathroom and work. Thank you for remote work. And when I mean work, I mean literally like working when I don't have to really interact with too many people. Because I knew my fuse was back to being short. And I'm tearing up. I thought I was ready. I am. But to get over something, you got to go through it. And grief is so hard. It's hard to just let love persevere. Because you think about all the pain, the crying, and then the crying leads to headaches, and you're just emotionally and mentally worn out, and you're like, I don't want to, no, let me hold on to it. And then you just go, baby, you got to let the love persevere, and you got to let yourself feel it. And that's so hard. But what's even harder is the fact that the person that you're grieving just isn't here. You can't just call them up. November 8th is my father's birthday. November 8th, 2016 was the election of that marmalade demon. That was election day. And here we are celebrating my dad's birthday. We have the election results on, and Game of Thrones was still on. It literally looked like the Red Wedding on my screen for CNN and MSNBC. Fox News is no. That's where demons reside. So seeing those results on Tuesday into Wednesday, right? Because I was like, I'm like, I can't watch this right now. Because I'm like, I didn't want to, like, oh, nope, let me breathe. Because it was like stuff was just coming in red. And I just, it's like, nope. I woke up on Wednesday. And I saw the results, and I was just so disheartened because I said, y'all really didn't learn shit from 2016. Y'all didn't learn nothing. Nothing. Y'all learned nothing. And then I got this thought of, I remember it happened November 9th, 2016. I remember calling my dad, and he said, it's going to be okay. Now, he had no idea what that meant and how that looked. But when you are black, whew, when you're black, you can't fuck around and find out. You don't have the luxury of fucking around and finding out. And you always have, I gotta look at the stuff, I have to maintain this thought of, it's gonna get better. Because if I wallow and it's not gonna get better, it's gonna drag you to a place that you don't want to be. So you gotta say, we gonna be all right. You gotta be like K-Dot and say, we gonna be all right. In the grand scheme of things, are we going to be out all right? Honestly, I don't know. Because 2016 to 2020 was very hard, mentally and emotionally, for way too many people. Add in fucking 2020 and the pandemic, and it makes it even worse. There were people who unalived themselves 2016 because that man became president, because he made so many statements and so many promises of hate. He said, I'm going to get rid of these people because, one, Donald Trump ran because Ronald Reagan walked. Ronald Reagan pulled this shit too. People believe him. Y'all elected a actor. Now y'all re-elected a man who was literally impeached from one part of Congress because the other half couldn't nut up and just do it. Because hey, hi, if y'all had impeached that piece of shit, he could not have ran for re-election. I don't understand why y'all keep doing this shit. I don't understand. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I understand racism so well. And that sucks that I have to say it just like that. It is the worst thing ever to watch y'all do this shit again. And then y'all want us to not. Y'all don't want us to be mad at y'all. Oh, don't be mad at us. Let's agree to disagree. I'm sorry. Fuck you. And I say that with my whole chest. I say this as someone who has to have her cup being half full. Fuck y'all. Everybody who voted for Donald Trump, fuck you. And there's a lot of you who did it. I don't know who is, it was one of the hosts of the Daily Show who's part of the demo, who's part of the reason that we're in this problem right now. It's a white woman. And I agreed with her in a way that I just didn't realize that I could. Because she said what I thought. Because I'm like, that sums this up perfectly. I don't care why she lost. I care why he won. And y'all could sit here and say it's because of, no. It is because I didn't think I was going to get it. I haven't even been on this. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm getting all my feelings out about the election. I do want to kind of touch on Bravo, but I need to get this out first. I need to get this out of me and off me, right? He won because white people are not being honest. Y'all are full of shit and y'all are cowards. I said what the fuck I said. Y'all are dishonest and y'all are liars and you're cowards. He won because y'all liars. He won because y'all stupid. He won because y'all are cowards. You are literally afraid to let somebody who don't look like you be in charge. So for anybody who's around a certain age, I'm 43 years old. September 11th, 2001, who was the president? George Bush. The pandemic of the COVID pandemic, who was president? Donald J. Trump. You notice I didn't say not one Democrat. We were at war. The war in Iraq. Who was the president? I could have swore his last name was Bush. And I think the war continued when Clinton was president. Or I could just be making all this up. I'm kidding. I'm not making it up. I could just be getting it confused. Hold on one second. War on Iraq. I'm sorry, the war in Iraq, that was in 2003. I'm sorry. Let's see. It started March 20th, 2003. I'm sorry. Who was the president then? It was most notably George Bush. But let's go back to the Gulf War. So that's the one that I was thinking about. That was in 1990. Now, got to look at the Gulf War. That's the one I was thinking of, and I was like, oh, Lord, hold on. So in 1990, from August 1990 to January 1991, that was Operation Desert Shield. Operation Desert Storm was January 17th, 1991 to February 28th, 1991. So, the president that was, let's see, the presidents that were in 1990 and 1991, again, that was George H.W. Bush, George Bush's daddy. Both of those Bushes were presidents during a war in the Middle East. Again, I had to look it up. I remember, oh my gosh, homegirl from Grownish. Why am I blanking on her name? I don't know. She did I'm sorry. Shout out to Google. Yara Shahidi did she did a TED Talk, and she was talking about how terrorists, international terrorists, were depicted in movies. And when she brought it up, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of remember that. So, and terrorists morphed from being white dudes from Germany to brown dudes from the Middle East kind of quickly, in a way that it kind of around the 90s. And if you're wondering, like, what do you mean? Let's see. Passenger 57, who was the terrorist, was a white man. Yeah. Passenger 57. I was thinking of something else. Passenger 57 is a white dude. Die Hard. The first three remind me, who was the terrorist? Let's see, is Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, also Live Free or Die Hard? It was led by Timothy Oliphant. He's snacky, by the way. Again, bunch of white dudes being terrorists. Now, mind you, Die Hard with Live Free or Die Hard was a little bit later. So was Die Hard with a Vengeance. But again, who was it? A white dude. It's kind of like, it made sense because of the Die Hard franchise, because how it started. Started with a white guy from Germany. And then you saw movies like kind of like True Lies, Executive Decision. All of a sudden, all the terrorists are, all of a sudden, Germany stopped being filled with terrorists that want to blow up our country and get money. All of a sudden, it turned into brown dudes from the Middle East. I felt that when she said it. I'm like, yeah, kind of, it's like you didn't even notice it. And she's like, oh my. Anyway, that was just like a sidebar. I sound like my least favorite person from DC. I'm talking tangentially. Shout out to Zachary Levi Pugh. Yes, his last name. Zachary Levi's last name is Pugh. Levi is his middle name. There's a woman on TikTok who lives to put her, like literally, she does not let this man breathe, and she has no problem reminding y'all. She's been talking about how problematic he's been for a few years now. So him, yeah, girl, yeah. I think he's trying to just Shazam himself a invite to the inaugural parade. Oh, girl, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have plenty of you're gonna have plenty of. They're gonna have plenty of invites. Don't worry. They're gonna have plenty of. They need people in the parade. They probably are gonna ask you. They might ask you come in costume or bring your big purple crayon. You douche. So yeah, add on grief and then being mad about the election. I just really wish, mind you, when I think about what was heavy last week, it really is grieving my father. It really is. Because the election results just make you angry. Because again, we watch white people lie right to your face or be cowards, right? And we saw them basically, especially white women, repeating the stupidity that they did in 2016. 2016, they had a safety pin. This year, they want to do blue bracelets. Let me tell you something. Y'all have learned nothing. Because again, a safety pin, a blue bracelet. That is centering you. And that is the issue. That is why we have that marmalade demon in the office. Because again, y'all centered yourselves. Again. But y'all do that all the time. Voting is a secret ballot thing. It always has been. It always has been. It's never been like, tell us like in a Times Square. Do it like right here. Show us. That has never been the thing. And now the other part of this, other than white people lying, and if you don't like what I just said and say white people are lying, talk to your cousins and your friends and your buddies and your coworkers. Because the thing about it is, that was the problem. Black and brown people were trying to convince you that he's terrible for the country, when the liberal white people who were in that percentage that did not vote for the marmalade demon, y'all didn't convince them from a fiduciary way that he is terrible for this country. You didn't listen to the people who used to work for him and said, baby, don't do this. You ain't listen to them. You didn't listen to people who said, baby, I remember what happened when he was president in 2016. Don't do this again. Y'all didn't. Y'all literally thought like, oh, no, I want something different. Because, again, some of y'all have got, like, the people that were stupid in 2016 got stupider this year. In the last few years, honestly. Is it bad when you're so mad you just lose your train of thought? Because that's what just happened to me. I'm like, what the hell was I talking about? This is so bad. That's how mad I am about this whole thing. Sorry. So the liberal white people, quote unquote, the good ones, y'all didn't talk to your friends. You didn't talk to your neighbors. Hey neighbor, you do realize he was president during the pandemic. That was never the selling point. And for those who said they could not vote for Kamala Harris, could not, because of her association with the president, because she was a part of the administration that continued something that has been happening for longer than a lot of us want to actually admit. You couldn't vote for her because of the administration's response to not bringing a ceasefire, because of something that happened October 6, 2023. Something that seems like the culmination of something that's been happening for 7 decades, or 7.5. An apartheid that's been happening for so long that a lot of us just didn't know. And by the way, that's by design. That's how people don't get smarter. Knowledge is inhibited. That's why what the apartheid in Gaza was never taught. Why do you think there are people in Oklahoma who don't even know about the Tulsa Massacre, and they're from Oklahoma? Other people in other states hear about that. There are people who think that there's like sundown towns was just like a subplot in a show. You think the Tulsa, like these, like genocides and massacres of black people, most notably, but also Asian people, indigenous people, Hispanic and Latinx folks. People think that's made up because it's not taught by design. However, and I'm saying this to somebody in high school, I got 3 years of European history. 3 straight years. Why am I learning 3 years of European history? And I didn't learn about the Tulsa Massacre until I was like in college or after. That wasn't taught. It's done by design. I'm going to be talking 10. I already know I'm talking tangentially only because I'm mad. It's bad when you like pick up like I'm ready to pick up the mic because I'm going to be mad for a little while. And here's the deal. I'm sorry, blue bracelets. Thank you. Putting on a bracelet saying, see, I'm having a bracelet is centering you. Kind of like doing a safety pin. That's centering you. You're making this about you. How is it that your inability to convince your family members, your friends, your coworkers to not reelect this marmalade demon, how is putting a bracelet trying to make anything better for anybody? It's not. It's making you feel better. You're like, please don't be mad at me. Please don't lump me in with these folks, when y'all literally voting on a person who lumped all immigrants together. All brown people together, all black people together, all Asian people together, and you don't want to be included. That's, what's really funny? Some of your Mexican neighbors probably feel that same way. If you live in a certain state, your Haitian neighbors is like, who the fuck do you think you are? Haitian people who live in that state is like, oh, it's really funny that you like included Haitians about your damn cat, who, by the way, came back and you didn't bother to tell nobody, but it was too late. Because that hellscape of a campaign, they couldn't wait to find stuff to literally distract y'all fools from the fact that, he ran on no platform. He had no plan. He had concepts of plans. But he damn sure made declarations of hate. But yes, you couldn't possibly vote for Kamala. But you voted for a person who flat out said, oh, we will level this place to the ground. Or including people in his administration, saying we will like burn that country down to the ground just to get rid of a extremist group that probably was built out of the fact that there's an apartheid in that country. Kind of like how, you know, in some comic books, supervillains are created by heroes. Like Two-Face or Batman. I don't know. I guess maybe if you look at, you know what? That's a good question for Butterscotch Minutes and Old Man Wade and Brandon and Rashani. That's questions for them. What's a villain that was created by a hero? And now that hero has to like try to destroy the villain that he created. I don't know. Maybe Two-Face. Not Catwoman. I don't know. I see. I'm not a comic booky girl. I'm a nerdy girl, but comic book is in my nerdy thing. Okay, I've been walking this very slow. When it comes to voting in this country, historically, it's not high percentage of people. It's usually about half the people who are eligible to vote or able to vote do. There are people who don't. They just don't, and they've never voted. When it comes to black people, I've always said I understand voter apathy because, and I can't say the percentage of this is, voter apathy can be a direct result of voter suppression. The amount of voter, like the percentage of voter apathy within the black community being affected by voter suppression, I can't tell you. But if you think suppressing people for a long time and then expecting them to care about a process that you keep trying to lock them out of, girl, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm not talking to people who historically they've never voted, and I'm not talking about certain demo. I'm just talking about people like people in general. Okay, I'm just talking about people in general that have never really voted. They don't vote. They never vote. They've never voted. They've always been able to vote. They've been able to vote since they're 18. They just don't participate in the process. I'm not talking about y'all. I feel like I should be talking about you because it's like you would think what you're seeing would make you go like, oh, this can't happen again. And it didn't. Okay. For those who voted third party, and if you have been voting third party for years, cycles, okay, then maybe I'm not talking to you. Again, I just said maybe. But if you chose this year to be a third party voter, yeah, do not even think. I don't care what shade of blue you choose. Don't do this. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, do not buy a blue bracelet. Do me a favor. If you feel like you got to do this thing or show like I'm one of the good ones, when that wouldn't fly with black and brown people, when y'all be literally speaking in absolutes about our demos, do me a favor. Don't buy no blue bracelet. Buy a string of blue anal beads. Because you could stick that string of beads straight up your ass. Why don't you get some anal beads? It'll be probably a little bit more of a good sensation for you. Don't buy no bracelet. Buy some blue anal beads. Let me know if you want some recommendations. I'll find some black-owned businesses for you to buy some blue anal beads from. Since you want to be head asses. If you didn't keep voting to hurt people, you wouldn't need no blue bracelets or no safety pins or no let's agree to disagree. You know what's really funny about that? People, like when it comes to politics, like we shouldn't let politics ruin friendships. We agree to disagree. That usually is coming from somebody who voted on the wrong side of history. That's usually coming from y'all. That's not coming from people who are voting on the right side of history. You want to know why? Because I know I just did the right thing. Your dumb ass don't want people to look at you like you're a piece of shit. Just in case you didn't know, people have been hinting in this. Some people have said it a lot harsher than I'm about to say it. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're a piece of shit. I don't give a good goddamn what the fuck you say. I don't want to hear your reason why. I don't care. You are a piece of shit voting for this man. What he's been saying in the last 2 years. Now that he won the election, he's saying some bullshit. Yes, you are a piece of shit if you voted for him. Period. Dot. And if you think you did the right thing, you should need somebody not to like to make you feel bad. If you think you did the right thing for this country, and by the way, you did not if you voted for him. Stop wanting somebody to absolve you for your poor decision. I will not. We are done coddling your feelings. That is the problem. Coddling your feelings gets people hurt. You got people crying and scared and terrified going, you know what? Let me pack up my shit and go. Let me move to Canada. Let me go to another. Let me immigrate somewhere else. Let me move somewhere else because y'all have lost your minds. But yes, a blue bracelet. Girl, fuck you. I swear. What is wrong with y'all? I don't care your reason. I'm going to keep saying it. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're a piece of shit. And if you don't like it, tough titty. Like I am Audrey too. Tough titty. Suck it. Because y'all had no problem pulling that lever, clicking that button, circling that bubble to maintain or bring back an administration of hate and stupidity and ignorance. An administration who loves to live in misinformation and go after people who are not. Okay, this is the other thing. If you look at the demographics of white people, the ones that were uneducated, meaning they didn't get past a high school diploma or GED, those are the ones in droves that voted for this man. I mean, white people, y'all voted for him in droves. I know a lot of black people who have not gone past a GED or a high school diploma. You know what happened? They didn't vote for Trump in the way that y'all did. It's interesting, those who went to secondary education, those white people, higher percentage of white people who didn't vote for him. Dear white people, this is your cross to bear. Stop trying to get absolved by making a poor decision. Don't get mad at me that your demo fucked up, because y'all have no problem speaking in absolutes about black people, about every oppressed group in this country, including Jewish people, who is a ethnic and religious oppressed group. I do know the difference, y'all. I promise. Even though I have an ex-friend who literally... Shut up, Stephanie. You know what? Never mind. Let me leave that alone. Every single one. You have no problem speaking in absolutes. Because that rich white man told y'all poor white people, and I'm saying poorer than him, and that's a lot of people, that the reason why you are so down on your luck is because of black and brown people. It couldn't possibly be the person who literally dismantled the office that would have probably helped save lives from the 2020 pandemic, but he dismantled the office, and now he talking about he going to dismantle the Department of Education. Talking about he wants reparations for white men if they didn't get jobs or accepted into schools. It's like stats are not a thing. It's like there's no statisticians in the world. It's like there's not data he could look at to actually see how that looks at with PWIs. Because literally, if a white person does not get something, it must be some non-white person's fault. That's literally it. But if a non-white person doesn't get something, it's our fault. You didn't work hard enough. That's not true. Because all the white people who had an issue with DEI say, why can't we just go back to merit? Like, everybody merit based. I'm like, because you think if a non-white person is somewhere where you think is higher than you, they couldn't have possibly gotten there because of merit. They had to get there because they were black. I busted my ass where I am. There's a lot of black people who bust their ass. And as a black woman, we've already said it. It's been established. Most black women are overqualified for any position that they're going up for. They're usually overqualified for it. Kamala Harris is no different. But if you see me in a place of power, you don't think I got there because of my merit. You think I got there just because I'm black. So how does merit work if you don't think I got here because of my merit? And by the way, I did. DEI helps you stop hindering non-white people from getting ahead because you want to keep it the good old boys club. They're white women. They didn't want y'all asses there either. They were keeping y'all asses out too. They just wanted like white men. They just want to see pink peens, okay? It's Pink Peen Brigade. That's what they wanted. I don't make up the stats, babe. Yeah, get you some nice anal beads. I don't know if I can make that the show title. I'll do some voting. I'll ask some people because I don't know. I don't know if it will be approved if I put anal beads. Blue anal beads as the show title. I don't know if I can do that. I really don't. I don't know if I can do that. I miss my dad. So that makes my emotions more heightened. However, I'm going to say this again, and this episode is going to end. I appreciate everybody listening. It's not going to be that long because I swear I'm just going to keep ranting and raving. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're a piece of shit. This has been the Mocha Minutes Podcast.
This is the real reason that Kamala Harris lost the election. I'm a political analyst, I'm a DC attorney, I've worked on political campaigns before, I've spoken to a lot of people on both campaigns. What I want you all to know about is a study I read about once in which people attached nodes to folks' brains and they sent a signal to their brain telling them to get up. And the participants in the study stood up. Also, this is relevant, so follow me here. Once people got up, they asked them why they got up, and they would create reasons why they got up. They would say, I went to get water, I was bored. Now, a lot of neuroscience studies don't replicate. I think this was a free will study. Take it as a parable, not as fact. I'm not a neuroscientist. But the point I'm trying to make is Kamala Harris lost the election because of misogyny. She lost the election because subconsciously people are racist and sexist. So that is why they did not go and vote out for her. They found an excuse to stay at home. Or that's why a bunch of young men who felt threatened went out and voted for Donald Trump, though they may not have participated in elections previously. Of course, after the fact, they'll find a reason to explain why they did that isn't racism and sexism, because they don't want to feel like they are. So yes, there's a ton of theories coming out now about how Kamala Harris didn't run a perfect campaign. She went too far left. She didn't go far left enough. She didn't listen to supporters. The Trump campaign did something right. People cared about policies, but really it was none of those things. She lost the popular vote, and she lost by so much that misogyny is the only thing that can explain it. And here is even further proof. If you compare the number of people who voted for her, who are black men and women, who are above 90% for black women and 80% for black men versus other races, are you really going to tell me that black men and women also don't face the same economic issues or the same other issues that provoked other races, especially white people, to go out and vote for Trump? No, of course, the difference between the black vote turnout and the white vote turnout or other race vote turnout can be explained by the fact that those races, including mine, I'm Asian, right? All those other races have more misogynoir. They have more sexism and racism to black women, and that is why they didn't turn out at the same rate that black men and women did. If she were truly so terrible on policies or economics or didn't run a good campaign or didn't convince people to vote for her, then black men and women would also not have gone out to vote for her in the vast majority, in these huge numbers that we're seeing. Now, of course, don't come after me. Like, we may get more statistics later to show that there was something else that was going on, and I am waiting to learn about that as well. But as of November 10th, 2024, like, we don't have proof that those other things were going on, and we have ample proof that she faced an insane amount of misogyny and racism. Follow me for more, because I'm going to do another video based on my information and experience on campaigns about why her campaign wasn't perfect, and I'm happy to talk about that, and I'm happy to share about how we can do a better job in the future, but that is not why I think she lost.